Hi, kindergarten. Mrs. Siegrist is here today to do a writing lesson with you. So we're all going to put our writer caps on and think about this important question. So today, our essential question is, why do writers write? And so I have my simple little boy and girl drawing here with question marks above the heads, because often when we're using our pencils and crayons and markers and all those fun writing tools, we don't often think about why is it we write. What is the reason behind the reason that we're writing what it is we're working on? So today we're going to think a little deeper about all the many reasons that might make you want to sit down and write something. So why do writers write is our important question that we're going to answer today. So it's springtime, and I'm sure if you're like Mrs. Siegrist, you've been taking a lot of walks, you've been spending a little bit more time outdoors, and so maybe you have a lot of thoughts and ideas swirling around in your head. And that's often when we decide we'd like to write something, because it's just another way of expressing ourselves, and often we want to get our thoughts or our feelings or our ideas down. When I think about springtime, I think about bright colors. And so I was organizing in my basement the other day, and I found this really colorful springtime box. And when I looked inside, I found all these different fun writing tools like markers and pencils and pens and fine markers. And I don't know if it was the colorful box or, like I said, the amount of time I've been spending outside, but it got me thinking about spring, and I wanted to write some things down. And I knew we were going to be having this lesson about why writers write, what is the purpose. And so I wrote a couple springtime things down on paper to share with you. And again, these are my thoughts and ideas that have to do with springtime. So why do writers write? One of the reasons writers write is to share information. So writers often write facts or important information that they want somebody else to know. So here are some springtime facts that Mrs. Siegrist wrote down. In fact, I wasn't quite finished with one, so we're going to have to add a little something as we're writing here. But so here are some springtime facts. Spring facts. One fact is that spring is the season between winter and summer. Another fact, fact number 2, spring begins March. And I went and looked this up. This year, it was the 19th, but the first full spring was the 20th, and it's usually around March 20th. Spring begins March 20th. That's a fact. And our third fact, spring is the season that many plants and animals begin their life cycles. So these are facts, things that are known to be true that I've learned over the years, and you're now learning in school, in science. We've talked about many of these facts that have to do with spring and animals and plants, what the weather's like, when it begins. So people often write down facts or information because they want to inform or teach people important things. And we call things that we know to be true facts. So I wrote some springtime facts. That's one reason, to give information. But when I was walking my dog, my thoughts were a little bit sillier. Sometimes when we're playing or outside, we might just be inspired, or our ideas might come to us because of our surroundings. And things just pop into our heads, thoughts maybe. So when I was walking along in my mind, I I just kind of wrote a little poem, a silly little poem. I was like, oh, if I were in school, I would share this with my kids. But you know what? I can still share it. Sometimes we can say what we're thinking, and other times we can write it down. So I wrote my poem down for you. It goes like this. Roses are red, violets are blue, springtime is here, there's much to do. Birds are singing, flowers in bloom, so much to discuss the next time we Zoom. That was just kind of a funny little joke about the only way I can really talk to many of you right now is if we Zoom together. And hopefully we'll be doing more of that. But boys and girls, I wrote this poem not so much to share information or facts, but just kind of to be silly. And I wrote it for you and your enjoyment. A lot of times we write things for other people to enjoy, or we write things to entertain. If you write a poem, it's to entertain somebody. You want to make them feel something. Maybe feel silly, maybe to bring back a memory. We write stories to entertain people. We write songs to entertain people. So this type of writing wasn't meant for information. It was meant to entertain. That's another reason people write, to entertain. Let me bring back, I'll flip my pages here. So we're going to make a chart together, boys and girls. This is our graphic organizer, or our T-chart. And so Mrs. Siegrist has our important question written at the top. Why do writers write? That's what we're thinking about today. We're going to be doing a lot more writing because it's springtime and you guys have turned into wonderful writers, able to get lots of thoughts and ideas down. So as we move to more of our writing activities, we always want to be thinking about what's the reason? What's my purpose for writing this? So we just learned from our facts and then our silly little poem that writers write to entertain, maybe to make people feel something, or to inform. We want to give information or facts. Those are two reasons why writers write. So in this springtime box, I did notice when I was showing you my pens and markers that there's some writing in here. So I'm going to dig through a little bit of it, and we're going to think about, well, what's the reason? Why was that written? So here we go. Let's see. Let me move my markers out of the way. Oh, boys and girls, this is sweet. This is a story. I went on a field trip to the zoo and I saw a lion and a zebra and it was fun. This is like a very, very beginning story that tells about an experience and where something took place. And it has an illustration to go with it. This is a story. People write stories, even simple stories like this, to entertain. I'm sure whoever this story was written for would have been very proud and felt very happy when it was read to them. So stories are written to entertain. So we're going to put that on the entertain side of our chart. And I think we should label it too. Stories entertain. Ooh, look at this. This is a recipe. For peanut butter and jelly. It tells what you need, bread, peanut butter, jelly, and then it gives directions. It gives the steps on how you go about making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Now, I'm sure you are all experts at making peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but at one time, you were a beginner of making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And maybe you needed this information, these directions, to know what to do. So you know what, boys and girls? A recipe, that gives information. So we're going to put that over here on the inform side. When I make something new, when I make something for the very first time, I need directions. So a recipe and inform. We're going to label this recipe. Oh, here's a letter. It's written on writing paper. It's just like our letter in the morning. It says, "Dear," tell who it's written to, and it says, "I'm coming to visit you soon. It will be fun. Love, Pam." Boys and girls, when someone writes you a letter, it usually makes you feel good. So this was written to entertain and make somebody feel something. When we write a letter, we're often writing to entertain. Doesn't mean we can't write a letter to inform as well, but this particular letter, it was just a nice letter, and it was meant to make somebody feel good and brighten their day. So letters, stories, they're written to entertain. Oh, here's a list. A list of favorite desserts. I think this is a grocery list of desserts that Mr. Siegrist is supposed to pick up at the grocery store. Cupcakes, some ice cream. Cake, sounds like a party. I don't think anybody's having a party these days. But a list, boys and girls, is meant to give information. Even a grocery list, so that you remember and that you know you're informed as to what you are going to buy when you get to the store. So lists are often put under inform. Writers write to inform. When I make a list for the store, it's because I'm informing whoever's doing the shopping of what we need to get. And we're going to write lists right here. Boys and girls, here's a helpful chart to help us remember. Why do writers write? They write to entertain and they write to inform. So I have a little summarizing strategy, something I'd like you to do around your house. I simply want you to go looking for some different types of writing. And when you find something, I want you to ask yourself, was this written to entertain? Was it written for fun and enjoyment? Or was it written to inform? Does it give facts? Does it give information for the person who's reading it? These are our two reasons why writers write. You are going to be having more lessons on the different types of writing that is meant to entertain and the different types of writing that are meant to inform. Good job, boys and girls. Stay well, stay healthy, and we'll see you soon.